Welcome to Real Life with Jenny. My name's Jenny Senapataratna. Grab your favorite drink and a snack and we'll get started. Today I'm drinking English breakfast tea and my snack is lemon blueberry granola clusters. I know you're super jealous. Well, let's get real. As many of you know, we have a ministry called Christ Connection, and my husband has been traveling around the country and around the world actually for years. We've been doing it for 15 years. Woohoo! Celebrate! And it's been really fun. He goes and he teaches on prayer and how to really connect with Christ, which is why it's called Christ Connection. So this spring, things have shifted in our lives, and my daughter and I have decided to go on the road with him. And we have been traveling for the last 5 weekends. This is upcoming weekend is our first weekend. We have not been traveling for over 5 weeks. And so I just kind of thought I'd share some of our adventures and kind of the crazy things that have been happening and a little bit of maybe where we're going in the future. I don't know, because I'm not really sure what that is. So I'm going to back up. About 9 years ago, when my daughter was 4, we went on a cross-country ministry trip. We left Minnesota and we went all the way up to Vermont and New Hampshire, into Maine, up into Canada. And it was a challenge and it was a blast. So we were on that trip and my daughter was young and we had like theme days where one day was a ballerina day. So we dressed my daughter. She got to wear her tutu, like a little ballerina outfit. Now she wouldn't do that now. At 13, roll your eyes at mom, right? Maybe mom will wear a tutu. I don't know. Maybe that would be more fun. She would roll her eyes at that too. Maybe drive in a separate car. Who knows? Anyway, we had theme days, and so every day there was a new thing we got to do, and we tried to make it really fun. And we'd stop at small churches, and we'd do services and meet with the pastors, and it was just amazing. It was like a 2-week trip. A lot of times we didn't have cell service, which was, for me, really fun. Um, anyway, it was a really great time. And on that trip, we decided as a family to make a priority list because there was lots of unused time in the car, right? Like after the first 500-600 miles, you're like, now what do we talk about? Sam was doing her own thing. She was 4. She didn't care about us. And so my husband and I started working on our priorities as a family and what things we felt were really important. And one of the things that came out of that is that we really felt like travel was something that was important to Kevin and I. And so that would be a place we would spend our money. So I've said in the past that we live in a trailer. I love our home. It's beautiful. It's a small, inexpensive place. And we do that so we can travel. So travel is a huge piece of who we are. We really try to embrace it and enjoy it. But I kind of want to talk about what it's like to travel now during COVID and what it's like to travel as a Senapataratna. We're not the average traveler. Maybe we are. Maybe I'm about to find out that everybody else does this kind of crazy stuff too. I don't know. So when we travel, we always travel, first of all, with Dramamine for my daughter because we love to travel. I don't know that she does because she gets really car sick. But the problem with Dramamine is it's a great situation, and we've tried everything out there. Dramamine helps her the best. So Dramamine makes her exhausted. So by the time we get to our destination, she is done. She's like, I'm done. I'm exhausted. I don't want to move. And Mama gets to the hotel, and I'm like, okay, now we're at the hotel. Let's go do something. So it's always kind of a challenge to balance our life when it comes to traveling. My husband and my daughter they love to be home. They enjoy being in one spot, and that is enjoyable to them. And I am, let's go do something, let's go see something. if we're going to be here, then let's make sure we're doing a puzzle, or let's make sure we're doing something. I'm always kind of, go, go, go. And they are my balance, because they're always, hey, let's chill out. So hotels. For those of you that have not traveled during COVID, it is very different. And I'm not complaining, because I love being able to travel to these we've been going to small towns throughout Minnesota these last 5 weeks. And honestly, my heart is for the small churches. I'm just going to share that right now. I love small churches. I was talking with someone last week in Freeport, Minnesota, and I was sharing that why I love small churches is because in small towns, because it's not necessarily a small church, it's a smaller town, they really can make a huge impact in their community. Where a big city, it's really hard to make a huge impact. You make a lot of impact, yes. But in a small town, you do the same thing, and it really shines a light on Jesus. And I just love that about small towns. And the hearts of the families that are running these churches are just incredible. God bless them, because I'm not a city girl. I'm a suburb girl. I like my Caribou. I love Chipotle, and I like Target, and I want them all within a 30-second driving period. When I get far away from a Target or a Caribou, I feel a little, I don't know what the word would be, a little anxious, like, where am I going? I like the suburbs. I like everything really close, which is very different than a small town, but it's fun to go to the small towns. So one of our trips was a 6-hour drive up and a 6-hour drive back, and that's without any stops. So, of course, we made stops, and we got to see the world's largest turkey. One of those big metal things. We stop at those kind of crazy places. Even though my daughter's 13 and she's rolling her eyes. Actually, she doesn't roll her eyes. She's very respectful. But she's got this like, Mom, are we really stopping at the world's largest turkey? She's a very good trooper. But I know that this is a memory. And I know this is something that we're going to go and laugh about. That there was huge tires stuck in the ground. And her mother tried to climb up it, got up to the top, almost started crying because she was so scared, and my husband had to gently help me down because I was terrified on top of this tire. Oh, it was so embarrassing. And then my husband just pops up, and he's standing up there like it's nothing. But he's a monkey. He loves to climb. So just making those kind of memories where it's like, oh, Mom's very afraid of pretty much everything, has been really fun for us. So one of the things is, I should get back to hotels. Hotels, it is no longer roaming the halls in a hotel. Not that many of us did before, right? But you really can't go down and play board games in the lounge area. The last place we were just at, they had to buzz us in and walk us to the pool and gave us one towel. And I said, I think I need more than one, because I'm kind of a larger lady. Like these paper towels that they give you, I'm like, maybe more than one would be, would be nice. And I did get more than one. Anyway, just a very different. You're always wearing a mask, and I appreciate that people are. But it's just very different. And it's different for us because, like I've said just a couple minutes ago, I don't like being in the room. But my husband and my daughter, this is it. All they want is food brought to them in the room. They don't have to leave. And then they get to flip through the TV. And they sit there and they flip through the TV and they make fun of the commercials and they laugh and they giggle. And they laugh, and my husband laughs, my daughter giggles. I guess I giggle, but I don't normally watch. And they flip through, because it's channels, we don't have cable at home. So we don't have commercials to make fun of. So they sit there, and they could do it for hours. So I pop in a book on my iPod, and I listen to that while they watch the crazy shows that I'm like, oh my goodness. Some of them they're all good shows. They're just kind of ridiculous in my mind. So that's always been fun. And so what we've been trying to do, and we've done for years, is I don't like to be outside. I am not a outdoorsy girl. I really try to be outdoorsy, but then I get outdoors and there are bugs. And if God had created outdoors without bugs, I might be a little bit better. Or if he had created outdoors without bugs and maybe about 70 degrees. That would be perfect for me. But anything about 70 and I'm a little weary, and then there's also the bugs. So my daughter and I took a quick little trip, just the two of us, to as a reward to the North Shore, and we went to Split House. Is it? Oh, now I don't know. It's a lighthouse up there. Oh my, Split Rock Lighthouse. Oh my goodness, how embarrassing. Anyway, and we were trying to go down these paths, and there were flies everywhere, and we called them flesh-eating flies because they were biting. And I looked at her and she looked at me and we both said, okay, we're done. And she's like, we can get a postcard. Like, we were like, you know what? We know the lighthouse is beautiful because we've seen lots of pictures. Let's Scooby-Doo on out of here. And we went back to the hotel and went swimming. So just those bugs just kind of drive us crazy. So what we have always done and what we did on our first long trip out to Canada is for lunches, we would stop and have a picnic lunch. So on that trip, I had bread and peanut butter and honey, and I'd make peanut butter and honey sandwiches for Sam, peanut butter and jelly for Kevin and I. We put everything back in the cooler just to save money because we don't like to spend money when we travel. That's not something that's enjoyable to us. We like to save money while we travel. Really weird, I know. So we've been stopping and grabbing food in these small towns, which is very difficult because lots of things have closed down, which is super sad because these businesses that have been in operation for years and years, but they're mom and pop shops, haven't been able to stay open in these small towns because the tourism isn't happening as much this year. So a lot of things are closed down. So we have done, like, gotten a Casey's pizza for $11 and gone to a park. And then we played Foursquare. We ate it outside, and then that was kind of a fun, that was one of the best picnics we've ever had. We just ate by the lake and looked out at the lake, and then when we went and played Foursquare for half an hour to an hour just as a family. And then we went back to the hotel, and they got to play their TV flipping game. So that was really fun. But one of the times we were in a town and we could find nothing open because we're not really big fast food people. We will eat fast food. It's just not our favorite. It's not enjoyable to us. So we went to a gas station to see, like, can we pick up a sandwich? We don't know. They had nothing. They did have pickles. That's it for, like, food to take other than, like, chips and candy. So we X'd that, and then we went to a grocery store thinking maybe they have a deli. I don't, you never know. So we went there, and their whole salad bar is shut down because of COVID. They don't have that available. Just all that. The limitations are so high right now in different areas. And so they had a chicken meal. It was a $13 chicken meal, and you got 8 pieces of chicken and 2 sides. So we got mashed potatoes and gravy and coleslaw and macaroni and cheese, and then there were buns with it, and there's chicken, and I was like, hey, do you have any utensils and some butter? They were like, sure, I suppose if you really need it. So we buy it. We drive out to a park that I had kind of looked up online that was on the river, and we pull up and we go into a picnic area, and we're sitting there, and I realize we have no napkins and we have no plates. So we have a fried chicken dinner with mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, and coleslaw with no plates. Oh my, no plates. So we take the lids off of things and kind of like make little piles for everybody to have like a little bit of everything. And we're sitting there trying to enjoy our semi-weird meal where we like took the paper bag and like put it down for the fried chicken. It just got a little weird. We are not outdoorsy. This is way beyond our skill set at this point. And we're sitting there, and we sat at a table really close to a garbage can, not thinking, and there were flying insects that were yellow and black that have little stingers on the end. I call them bees. I know they're not bees. Like, I know that it's not a bumblebee, but I know they sting. And they started flying around us. And so Sam was up every 30 seconds flying to the other side of the picnic area to try to get away from them, because we're not bug people. And all of a sudden, a bug flies straight, one of these bee-type creatures, flies straight into our gravy. And I, with my tendency of being scared of all bugs, wanted to drown it in the, in the gravy. I'm like, put it down, drown it. And my husband, of course, was a little more level-headed and pulled it out and then killed it. I'm sorry for those who love bugs. We did kill it. That was a bee in my gravy was beyond something I could really enjoy. And trying to get gravy out without the right utensils and without a plate to put it on. Oh my. If you could have been there, you would have been laughing at the three of us trying to figure out how to have a meal. And just go, okay guys, really, you could have gone to a restaurant, right? But we were trying to save money and trying to be in nature and enjoying what God has given us, and then we're covered in bees and lots of squealing and screaming and getting up. And I'm not saying that was all Sam. There was a little bit from me too. Okay, maybe more than a little bit. Anyway, it was a crazy time, and we weren't able to eat everything. I think the gravy was then off the table. We were no longer. I did put it at another table as like a bee collector to see if we could get more of those things to fly in there, and then they wouldn't be around us, and it didn't work, but it was worth a shot, right? I'm like, if they like gravy this much, we'll make sure they have it, that they want it. So we didn't have any more gravy, which was kind of sad, because that's why you have mashed potatoes. Anyway, you don't care. But I do, because mashed potatoes go with gravy. So we finish up our meal, and we walk up and down the river. And I remember my husband and my daughter went so I could kind of decompress, because I got a little anxious after this whole situation. I know, you shouldn't get anxious during a picnic. You should be relaxed and it should be fun. It's not for me. I was kind of cranky, maybe. I don't know if I was cranky. I was really overwhelmed at this moment, because we're in a small town that we don't know, and we're eating a weird meal, and I know we're about to head back to the hotel room for the rest of the evening, and I was just overwhelmed. So my husband and my daughter went down to the river and just gave me some time, and I sat there, and I was like, Lord, I'm frustrated, and I feel alone, and I'm sitting in a park that I know nobody, which is a blessing and a curse at the same time. And we just got done eating a meal that was really overwhelming to me because of the bees and no plates and feeling gross. And, I like things tied up in a nice little bow. And I was sitting there watching the river and watching my husband and my daughter throwing sticks in the river and just enjoying it. And I remember feeling the peace of God come upon me and saying, my peace is beyond your understanding and beyond your current circumstance. And I just sat there trying to soak up God's peace, because it was an overwhelming day of a lot of driving and a lot of Sam being tired and being kind of car sick, and Kevin has to preach the next morning and he wants to rest, and I want to go do something because I don't want to sit in the hotel. And we're really trying to figure out how to do this as a family, because Kevin's done it by himself and he has had a routine for 9 years and he knows how to do this. And Sam and I are now coming along really kind of messing up that routine. So there's not a lot of conflict, just a little, we're trying to figure out how to do this and not annoy one another. And so I sat there, and God's peace just came upon me, And I remember going, Lord, the only way we can do this is with your help. The only way that we can find the compromises and find the enjoyment in the bee in our gravy is with your help. And so often in life, we go through frustrating times and we don't turn to the Lord who can give us peace beyond our current circumstance. And that moment for me, I have a picture of it now on my phone. And it's a picture of my daughter and my husband throwing sticks into this beautiful river. And I want to remember that the Lord can come even in the midst of our craziness. And now it shouldn't have been a crazy thing to someone outside, right? Someone outside would have been like, wow, look at that family living like this perfect life, right? But inside of me, there was a lot of turmoil. And I think in life, we are all showing our perfect selves. And there's turmoil going on inside. And God wants to send his peace into your life. That's just a bonus. But let's go back to being in a hotel, right? So I don't know how many of you have traveled with kids in a hotel room or traveled with someone that does not have the same sleep schedule you have. So my sleep schedule, I'm a night owl. Like, I like to stay up late. My husband likes to get up early. So you have to make really different choices when you're all in the same room. Like, I can't stay up till midnight and read a book while he goes to sleep at 9, right? So there's always some kind of compromise that has to happen. And I feel like the one thing I want to say about traveling on the road is what a blessing it is to us and how much we're loving it, but how much of a challenge it is. So please don't look at other people's life and you see someone else on Facebook and you see all these glamorous things they're doing and you think, oh wow, look at that. Because I only put up the pictures of us in front of the big turkey. I don't put up the pictures of mom who has been crying because we can't find something to eat and my blood sugar is dropping and I am freaking out and, you know, I can't eat McDonald's one more time. Please don't make me eat McDonald's today. But there's nothing else. Or we could eat Dairy Queen, which honestly is my least favorite food on the planet. I love Dairy Queen ice cream, but I don't enjoy their food. Sorry, Dairy Queen. But you look at people's lives on the outside and you think, wow, they get to travel for a living. What an amazing thing. And yes, it is amazing. I'm not going to say it's not amazing because the drive is gorgeous. It's just, it fills my soul with how much the Lord loves us. Because you look out at nature and you go, oh, God loves us. Look what he did. He built these trees and made all these beautiful things for us to look at. And then I go out in nature and I go, but Lord, why did you create the bugs? Anyway, please don't look at someone else's life and think it's perfect. Know that people are going through the exact same struggles you're going through. Maybe they're not dealing with your financial struggles. Maybe they're not dealing with that they've lost their job. Maybe they're not dealing with your spouse and you are not getting along right now. But everybody needs a miracle and everybody needs God's peace. And my prayer for you, for those who are listening and kind of hearing this craziness, my prayer for you is in your current circumstances that you would take a moment and ask God for his peace that is beyond your current circumstance. That when things get overwhelming and you're at a park and there are bees all around and they're in your gravy and you can't eat mashed potatoes because you don't have a plate and you're like, Lord, do you see this? We're really trying to save money and do this the right way so we can do this more because we don't want to, waste our money. And God's peace can come in during those circumstances. He can come into your life when your house is a mess, which is another byproduct of traveling for 5 weeks, is you're coming home, unpacking, doing laundry, repacking, coming home, do laundry, unpacking, repacking, and really what happens to your home is it gets really messy. And so now I'm at home with the anxiety of my house is a complete disaster. And where is everything? Do I still have it? Like, where is my toothbrush? Did I keep it packed away? Or did I pull it out? Oh my goodness. Just the little teeny things that can derail your day. I just pray that God's peace is in your life and that you take the time to ask Him to come in and fill your current circumstance with peace and love. Well, that's all I have today. It was a little longer than I anticipated, but I love each and every one of you, and I appreciate you listening. If you found this podcast something that was fun or encouraging to you, would you please share it with a friend that's maybe going through something they need peace for? The only reason I'm doing this is for you guys to be able to share things with other people, or that I'm sharing my life with you too. You can find me on Facebook at Real Life with Jenny or at christconnection.cc. I'm looking forward to hearing from you on either of those places. You all have a great day, and may the peace of God be beyond your circumstances today.